Hello and welcome to our next video. In this lesson, we're going to do a little cleanup on the shared layout page so that our UI will be a little more user-friendly, as well as give us a chance to be able to see some of the things that are going on there. So if we open up layout.cshtml, now this is the shared layout that happens for all of our pages. And how that works is there's a general HTML layout, and here's your body, where all of your information is for your nav bar here in this nav bar area. And then you have this class, which is a container body content, and it has this @render body. And then there's a footer, and then you'll note down at the bottom we have our bundles and this final bundle which says @render section scripts. Now that's going to be important later when we start doing the data table stuff, because this is what's going to allow us to have a specific view create scripts and put them onto the page, and we'll see that soon. But for right now, we're going to concentrate on this page. So the main render body here is what's going to render on every single page that allows us to inject the view HTML. So if I go into my index, for example, all of this will get injected wherever that @render is on the layout. So if I were to move this for some reason, it would go wherever I move it. Also, if I change how this works, it will change how my page works. And so what I'm going to do is actually change how this works a little bit. I'm going to add this -fluid. Now the reason I'm going to do this is because if you've noted, here let's go ahead and run it just so we can see, and I can show you the difference right away. So what we're going to see is the original site as we've seen it all along, and it will render on the page using that container object from the Bootstrap template. And here it is, and what we note is that over here on the left hand side there's this giant white bar, and over here on the right side there's this giant white bar. And this content is essentially in a fixed area on the page. And if my page gets bigger, there's still going to be borders on either side. Now this is fine if you like this look, and there's nothing wrong with it. But when we change it to container fluid, what that's going to do is allow me to use the entire page. And so I want to do that in order to make my page just a little wider. That's going to be especially important on the data tables page at least, because on that page we want to have as much screen real estate as possible. So right here on my class for my body content, I'm going to div container-fluid. I'm just going to save that. And the nice thing about making HTML changes on our CSHTML pages is that we shouldn't have to rebuild. We should be able to just hit F5 and see the change immediately. And so you can see what that did was it spread my page out for me. So now I'm using the entire page. There's no more borders on the left hand and the right hand side. There's still a little bit of padding, and that's actually okay. We probably don't want to go corner to corner per se. We'd like to have a little bit of space so that people can get that idea of that they are on the page and still not feel like it's just too crammed in there. But you see that does give us that nice wider look that goes across the whole page. You see the nav bar now is still kind of in the same area it was, but it just feels more like a current web page might feel. And if you want to make this so that it isn't so static and in the center, you could do the same thing over here for the class on the nav bar. And then we'll get hopefully a nice spread on the nav bar as well. So now my nav bar is right to left, and I think this is actually a better look even. So I think we're going to leave it like this for now, but that spreads out our nav bar across the whole page, spreads out our page across the whole page, and now we're using the whole screen. We don't need that narrow view. So we have a nice fluid container that takes up everything and tries to do as best as it can at being responsive. And so that wraps up our first video on fixing up the UI for our website. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.